All right, we'll roll into questions for Coach Johns. Steven, go ahead.
Coach Johns, how you doing?
Good, Steven. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. So just for you, how are you approaching this quarterback competition? Is this mostly right now for the spring, just teaching right now, or are you just analyzing? How are you approaching this competition?
Well, a lot of teaching and a lot of reps. I told Coach Silverfield when we go scrimmage, we can't take enough plays because these quarterbacks need just thousands and thousands of plays, and they need to feel the defensive line rushing the quarterback. They need to feel blitzes. They need to make checks. And so we're trying to divvy up reps, really not 100% equal, but we're trying to get every guy a fair shot. And I love what the guys are doing. They're making the most of it. It's been a great competition, and I'm really looking forward to it, finishing up spring, but then going throughout the summer as well.
Evan?
Hey, Kevin, if you could, could you break down just kind of what you're seeing from each quarterback so far, or at least maybe break down kind of what you see in terms of their skill set? Obviously, you've got Grant in the mix, Keelan's back, Peter's back, Seth and Lee Drake are in the mix. What have you seen, and what can you break down from them so far?
Okay, so I will start with Keelan Brown. I think Keelan has been probably the most comfortable so far this spring, just because he spent last year with us. And so he's had a year of hearing the language and speaking the language. Now he's still working on his timing and feeling the rush, like I said before, and not holding the ball too long. But so far, I've been pleased with what Keelan's doing. Peter Parrish was with us a year ago as well. He redshirted, didn't play in any games, but he spent a year learning the offense. So he's doing a really good job. I think he's probably not as far along as Keelan is because he didn't have as many game preparation reps, if you will, that Keelan did. But Peter has shown a lot of confidence this spring. He's shown the ability to make plays, and we've been very pleased with where he's at so far. Grant Gunnell is a new guy. He's doing well. Very, very smart. Very book smart, can memorize all the rules. Now it's a matter of going on the field when the bullets are flying and being able to execute. And I really think for Grant, as we go through this spring and we finish, we're going to go right back to square one in the summertime and do all the installations again, and then do it again in August. So by the time we get to preseason camp, it'll be his third time hearing it. And I know by that time he'll be ready to roll. Very happy with those three guys. Seth Hennigan, really as an early graduate, won the state title at Denton Ryan High School in Dallas, Texas. As smart as they come. He's a coach's kid. Very, very pleased with where he's at as a true freshman. Again, a lot like Grant in that he's just hearing the language for the first time. But from a skill set standpoint, Seth throws it really, really well. Moves well for a bigger kid. I'm excited to watch his body grow as he gets stronger. And then, Drake Day is his last one. Drake was with us a year ago, but spent a lot of time on the scout team. So honestly, this is his first time going through the entire system as well. And Drake does a great thing. He shows tremendous leadership, tremendous knowledge. It's the physical tools and the speed of the game that he's working on right now.
Mike?
Kevin, I know, we talked to Ryan the last couple of times, and when you're trying to find a new starting quarterback, and it's not between two guys, it's between, what could be 4 or 5 guys, as the QB's coach and offensive coordinator and all the titles that you have, how difficult does it make that? Because you obviously want to get this summer and fall as far along as you can, but you want to make the right choice when September 1 rolls around or whenever that first game is. But how tough is it as the guy who's going to have a lot of input on who's going to be the starting quarterback to deal with so many guys right now when you want to quickly get to the one guy who it's going to be in the fall?
Yeah, what a great question, and we don't have to make a decision right now because, like you said, we have a long time to get to that point. So right now, I told the guys, listen, just go out and do the best you can. When you get a chance to lead the team, I'm going to evaluate you on, can you move the team down the field? Do you put the ball in the end zone, number one? And then do you take care of the ball? We don't want fumbles. We don't want interceptions. We don't want sacks. If you can do those couple things, then you're going to have a chance to be quarterback of this team. So, yeah, it is going to be hard. And I tell you why, because we got good options. We got a lot of good players. And, it's been so long that the city of Memphis has only seen Brady White that we haven't even thought about anyone else. Well, now there's really 4 guys that we feel as a staff can go out and play ball. So we're going to give it time because at the end of the day, it sorts itself out. The kids will sort themselves out for us, I think, with leadership, with what they do in the weight room, with gains they make, with their intelligence and just how quickly they can think on their feet in game-like situations. So we got a long way to go. We're not in any hurry, but I certainly think it will sort itself out as we move forward.
does a guy get more kudo points if he's making those throws against the one defense instead of reps against the third or fourth guy, or that doesn't matter who he's doing it against?
Well, I think that's a great point that, yeah, you for sure want to execute against the one defense, but when you're out there with the twos and threes and sometimes the protection breaks down and you got to make a play. So you can learn more when things don't go well, just as much as you can when things do go well.
Stephen?
Hey, Coach, what have just been some of your early impressions of Shamar Nash?
Shamar's doing a great job. He's a bigger, thicker kid, maybe than I realized when he came in. So a stronger receiver, doing a really good job of learning the system. We're trying to get him to learn a couple different spots. And when you do that, it's hard. We challenge our kids. This offense has a lot to it anyway, let alone when you try to learn multiple positions. So he's shown a good job of handling things mentally. I think physically, he's still learning how to get himself into game-like shape, if you will, how to get himself into practice shape at our intensity and the speed that we want to run plays. But I'm looking forward to him having a good summer and just continuing to grow. And then when we get to August, like I say, things sort themselves out, and we'll find out at that time really if we can count on him or not.
Evan?
Kevin, for me, with the quarterback competition, how much, obviously you came here and Brady was established, but just from your experience, just kind of what's the most important part about for you, just, with evaluating quarterbacks, knowing that it's going to be obviously practice by practice, scrimmage by scrimmage, what's going to be key for you in kind of evaluating them and just seeing kind of how to measure where they are, as this progresses?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say this, I would use the term fluid intelligence. And which means how quickly can these kids think on their feet? The minute we send a play in and we want to play fast with tempo, how fast can you tell the O-line the communication, process what you have to do, snap the ball, and then execute it, and then do it again, and then do it again as fast as you can. So to me, the ability to think on your feet as the game's moving fast is going to be critical because, again, we do have a lot in this offense that we put on their plate. And these kids work hard mentally. They study a lot. But at the end of the day, you have to have fluid intelligence, right? And not everybody can do that. Some kids freeze up, they get nervous. Some kids can flow with the game. So that to me is number one. Number two, quite honestly, just taking care of the ball. And we can evaluate that every practice. And I tell the guys all the time, if we're in 7-on-7 and there's a pass and you don't like anyone that's open, just take off and run. That's better than throwing an interception. And I think with young quarterbacks, they are still learning that it is okay to take off and run or to throw the ball away. But I would go with those two qualities, number one and number two.
I know Ryan mentioned too, he said that mobility may not be, essential compared to those accuracy and intelligence, but just how much is that going to kind of, as you mentioned, how much will that can be a factor if it's necessary when the play breaks down?
Yeah, I think it's a huge factor. You talk to any defensive coordinator, that makes them nervous when the quarterback can take off and run. So, the more that our guys can do that when protections break down is better for our team.
All right, Brian, last question for Coach Johns.
Hey, Coach, evaluate your offensive line is, the different positions that are there. And is there any young kids that have surprised you so far this spring?
You know what? We really like our offensive line right now. Coach Bridge has done a phenomenal job, and this is year 2 for him, right? So those kids up front now know what he wants and what he expects. Really excited about Jacob Likes. He stepped into our role of being the starting center. He's doing a phenomenal job for us, just being confident and loud, which we really like. Jonah Gamble has stepped into a role of playing a little bit of left tackle and guard as well. So really excited about those two guys. But, Matt Dale has shown just tremendous growth from the season. Dylan Parham is playing as well as he ever has, which we need that from Dylan. And then Isaac Ellis returns as well. So, but I would say Jacob Likes has been great so far at center. I think Jonah's done a phenomenal job at tackle, and we're going to continue to push those younger 2s to become 1s as we move forward.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.